Hi, I'm Mikeybflyin. Today we're surfing. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the basics of surfing and What's up, guys? Today I'm talking about surfing, and these are 10 tips for beginner surfers to help you guys get started. This isn't a super in-depth video about surfing. These are just a list of things that I noticed beginners struggle with the most. Now let's get to it. Tip number 1, dress appropriately. It's warm, it's summertime in Huntington Beach, and as you noticed, I'm wearing a wetsuit. A lot of guys aren't. Some guys are out here in just shorts, but the water's a little cold and I'm probably going to be out here for a few hours, so even if you're in a warm tropical environment, just take note that the water might be cold. So dress appropriately, wetsuit if you need it. Just a little side note, the temperature can change from day to day. A week ago, we had a tropical storm that really warmed up the water, and I was out there in nothing but board shorts. And now this week, the water got super cold again. It feels like it's straight out of the Arctic. And now I gotta wear a wetsuit. And I actually made the mistake of not wearing a wetsuit a few times, and I froze my buns off out there. So dress appropriately sounds stupid, but it's super important. Tip number 2, protect your skin. You might notice that I have some white stuff on my face. That's that zinc-based stick sunscreen that you put on. That's great for your skin. It's all organic, the stuff that I get. It's great for you, and it will protect your skin and when you're in the water, so protect your face. A lot of my buddies have gotten severely sunburnt because they were out in the water and they didn't know that they were gonna get so much sun exposure. Again, another stupid sounding tip, but it's super important. I've gotten sunburned so many times out there, and I'm pretty conditioned for the sun. But especially if you're just starting out and you're not used to being out in the sun and out in the water, you gotta put on some sunscreen. Tip number 3 is choosing the right board. As you can see, I have a big long board. This one's about 9 feet long, and this is great for a beginner. But I also have a sponge board, and I'll show you that later on. Sponge boards are great for beginners. I highly recommend it. There's no particular brand, they're all pretty much the same. But that sponge board is gonna be awesome because you're gonna be falling, you're gonna have that board smash into you. And this board, that's really hard, and it's gonna hurt if it hits you, especially in the face. So a sponge board for super beginners. If you think you can handle it, a board like this is perfect. I'm gonna do a whole video just on surfboards so you guys know what board to choose for the right occasion. The best type of boards for beginners are gonna be the longer, wider, thicker boards, and foam boards are gonna be best, but I'll save all that for another video. Tip number 4 is choosing the right day to go out. Today the waves are kind of big, but also kind of small for me. But big for a beginner. So you want to pick the right day, pick the right spot. Don't go surfing around rocks or reefs on your first time. When you're a beginner, choose a nice beach. I love Huntington Beach. It's great waves in Huntington, and you want to go out when the waves are perfect for beginners. Right now they're breaking clean from left to right, a little bit of closed out ones, and these are kind of big. They're 3 to 6 feet, which is pretty big for a beginner, but ideally you want that rolling wave where it's not barreling and crashing down on you. So tip number 4, waves. Tip number 5 is diving under waves. When you're paddling out, you got to dive under a wave on a surfboard. You don't want to go up and over a wave unless it's really small, but you got to dive under, and diving under correctly is super important. There are 2 types of diving. One is called duck diving and one is called turtling. And which of those dives you do depends on what situation you're in and what kind of board you have. With this board, duck diving is really hard. For duck diving, you're gonna bring your chest up off the board a little bit. So I'll be paddling down like this, and then you're gonna push yourself off the board and grab the sides, and then as the wave comes up and over you, you're gonna push that nose of the board down and shove your whole head next to the board, but keep both your arms hard keep both your arms on that board so that you can push it down. On a board like this, it's too big and heavy to duck dive. Turtle diving is another technique for diving under the wave, and I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So what you're going to do, you'll be laying on your board just like this, and I'm going to grab the sides of the board and roll over on my back just like a turtle. It's that easy. You want to pull the board close to you, but not so close that it's going to bonk you in the head. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now on a few waves. Tip 6 is endurance. I've only paddled out here twice. I paddled out, caught a wave, and paddled back out. And I'm super tired already, and I'm in pretty good shape. And as a beginner surfer, this is going to be the most difficult part of surfing because it takes a while to build up that endurance, and I've been surfing for 15 years and I still have sucky endurance. If you're not in great shape and you don't have good endurance like I do, I really suggest going in short bursts. So you're going to paddle, 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 and then rest. And then paddle, 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 and rest. And when you're resting, just let your heart rate kind of calm down, let your breathing rate decrease. If you're huffing and puffing and your heart's pounding like crazy, then just take a second, rest, and I guarantee you guys will build up that endurance really quickly, and you're gonna have a lot more fun out there. It's not fun to just be super exhausted, and what I notice most beginners doing is they paddle, 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 and then they eventually just slap the water and they're not moving at all, and they're just moving their arms and wasting energy without really even going anywhere. And to battle some of these waves, especially if the waves are big, you need to have that really strong, quick paddle to help you push through those waves, or when you're trying to catch a wave, you need to have that quick speed. So surfing is about endurance, but you can kind of sidestep that by doing it in short little bursts, really, really fast, and then rest. Tip 7 is sitting. It doesn't sound super hard. You sit all the time for everything else, but sitting on a surfboard can be really challenging. I've seen a lot of beginners struggle with that. So sitting, the key to it is sitting on the right spot on the board. I'm sitting about the center on a little bit on the back part of the board. So the front of the board's sticking up. I don't want to sit too far forward like this, and then the nose of the board's going to sink down in the water. I want to sit further back here. Oh, that's too far. So that's too far back, and now it's super unstable. So I want to sit towards the middle. And it's really important to get the hang of sitting, because you're probably going to be doing this more of the time than you are going to be surfing. You're going to be sitting out here waiting for a wave. So sitting is quite challenging, and you can't see it, but my feet are moving around super fast to keep my balance because I'm off balance right now. So the key to sitting is using your feet to balance you. My feet are waving around in the water trying to balance, and I can turn myself just with my feet. I'm just moving my feet in a circular direction right now to turn, and this is super handy when you're looking out at the waves over here and you want to turn around really fast. You got to be able to turn with your feet, which I'm doing right now, and point yourself back towards the beach so you can catch the wave. So sitting is super important. It sounds super stupid, but it's really important because you're going to be doing this all the time, and you got to wait for your wave. You got to be waiting and looking out at the water here, looking out at the swells coming, and then as soon as you see a wave, boom, I got to turn myself around and point myself towards the beach. Tip number 8 is your position on the beach. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I left the beach from that lifeguard tower, that blue one right there, and that's 17th Street. And now I've drifted down, after only about 20 minutes of being in the water, I've drifted down to about 20th Street. And so that's quite a few blocks, and just in 20 minutes. And I even paddled super hard back that direction just because I wanted to go up the current. So be mindful of the current and the riptides. We have some crazy riptides here that will suck you out to the open ocean. And so the riptides and the rip currents, those are super important to be aware of. And so your position where you leave off the beach is important. You want to be mindful of the current, but also your position out in the water. I'm way too far out right now. I need to go closer in, and you can see the waves way over there. Probably you can't see it, but they're breaking really close to the beach. So I think I actually got sucked out in a riptide. So check out the other surfers, where they're hanging out. And if you're way far out or way too far to the beach, too close to the beach, then you gotta kind of align yourself where the waves are just starting to peak. You don't want to be in the crash zone where it's all whitewash. You want to be in that sweet spot, right where the waves are coming up and just about to peak so that you can catch them. So I'm gonna paddle back closer to the beach and hopefully catch some waves. And that leads me to tip 9, which is speed. You need a lot of speed, and that goes right along with endurance to catch these waves. You're gonna need to paddle super fast. I just paddled for that wave and I didn't catch it. Part of that was because I was too far out. I wasn't in the right position, but here we go. Let's try this again. All right, that was not enough speed to catch that wave. I'm actually a little too far out, so that was one of the factors there, but I did have some good speed, but just not in the right spot. So speed and position. The final tip, tip 10, is balance. Balancing on a surfboard. A lot of people think that's the hardest thing. I don't. I think endurance and speed are the hardest thing. And balancing is really not that hard if you place your feet and you do the correct motion, because the majority of your time on the surfboard you're going to be laying down or sitting on it like I am now, and it's only really for like the split second that you're in the process of standing up on your board. When you're on the wave, that's the hardest part. So the key to balancing is that you're not always balancing in the center. You're going forward and backward on your board.
I know I haven't covered everything there is to know about surfing, but trust me, I will do many more videos on surfing, especially about boards and balancing, how to get up off your board and all of that stuff. So stay tuned for a lot more videos in the future, but I hope these 10 tips will help you guys at least get started and start enjoying surfing. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you like this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and hopefully I'll see you out there on the water.